Good morning, students. The poem which we are going to take up today is named as Heartwood. It's written by Robert Macfarlane. Now, he is a British poet and a non fiction writer. His writing mainly focuses on beauty, wilderness, and importance of nature. Now, the poem which we are going to take up today talks about the importance of trees and the need for saving them. The poet voices his opinion in the form of questions which are put up by a tree itself to a woodcutter who has come to chop it. Now, through this monologue by a tree, monologue means a single dialogue. No, dialogue means two people are speaking. Monologue is a conversation by a single person, no speaker. So, through this monologue by a tree, the poet tries to urge us to be sensitive to nature and stop cutting trees. The poet calls these trees as pillars of nature that help so many creatures in so many ways. So, after this little introduction to the poem, let us begin with the poem. I hope, children, you have your book ready with you. So, let us begin with the line to line explanation of this poem. Now, as the poem starts, the first line is, "Would you hew me to the heartwood cutter?" So, as the poem begins, a woodcutter comes to cut a tree, and the tree which is going to be cut asks the woodcutter, the tree asks the woodcutter that, "Would you hew me to the heartwood?" Hew means cut down with an axe. So the tree questions the woodcutter that, "Would you cut me down with your axe to the heartwood?" Heartwood is the hard, dense part of the tree trunk. Tree trunk is the part from where the tree starts growing, the main part, no? The base of the tree. So the tree asks the woodcutter that, "Would you cut me down to my base from my roots? Would you leave me open hearted?" So the tree asks another question that, "Would you cut me down to my roots? And would you leave me open hearted? Would you leave me exposed? Would you leave my roots exposed so that I die?" Or, in a way, the poet wants to say, or the tree wants to ask the woodcutter that, have you come to cut me down from my base, or have you come to cut me down from my roots, or we can say, have you come to cut me down totally, or just a few branches? So, the next paragraph, "Put an ear to my bark, cutter, hear my saps mutter." So, the tree tells the woodcutter, cutter means the woodcutter, that you please put your ear to my bark. So, bring your ear near to my bark. Bark is the outer portion of the tree, the skin of the tree, we can say. So, the tree tells the cutter to bring his ear close to his bark. Why? Because he wants to say that you please listen to what my sap is saying. Sap is that liquid which flows through the tree, which the juice which flows inside the living plant. So the tree tells the woodcutter to please bring your ear near to my bark and listen what my blood, my flow, the liquid which is flowing inside me, inside my living part, has to mutter. Mutter means to say something very slowly. "Mark my heartwood's beat, my leaves flutter." So the tree tells the woodcutter that, "Mark my heartwood's beat." So listen to my beat. Mark means pay attention to what my beat has to say. The beat means the living part of the tree. My leaves flutter. So the tree tells that you listen to the fluttering of my leaves while I am alive. My leaves, they flutter, the living liquid inside me flows. So listen to what they have to say. Next paragraph, would you turn me to timber cutter? So the next question which the tree puts to the woodcutter is that would you turn me to a timber? To a timber, you all know, it's a wood which is used for making furniture and houses and other things. So he says that I am a living creature, and would you just turn me to timber? Leave me nothing but a heap of logs, a pile of brash. So the next question which the tree puts up is that he says, or the tree says, that would you leave me from a living creature to just a pile of the heap of logs. Heap means a pile of logs, no? So from a living creature, would you just turn me to a heap of logs or a pile of brash? Now brash means, you know, the small twigs and branches which have been cut from hedge or trees. So from the question which the tree puts up is that woodcutter, would you leave me from a living being to just a heap of logs or a pile of brash branches? I am a world cutter. So now the tree tells the woodcutter what it is. It tells that I am a world. I'm a world in myself. I'm a whole world to some of the creatures. For some of the creatures like birds or the insects or the butterflies or the I am for them I am a whole world. So I am a maker of life. So the tree tells that I make life. Now, how can a tree make life? For example, a tree makes flowers, fruits, and so many other things we get from trees. And the medicines we get honey, we get rubber, and so many other things. So the tree says that I am a world. I'm a whole world. Cutter. I am a maker of life. I make life. Drinker of rain. So the tree says that I drink rain. Breaker of rocks. That I lead to the weathering of rocks, the breaking up of rocks. You know, the roots of the trees, they break up the rocks, the bigger rocks into smaller pieces and the smaller pieces into soil. So actually the roots and the trees, they help to convert the rocks into soil. So the tree says that I am a maker of life. I drink rain. That means I drink like you people drink. I'm a living being. I'm a breaker of rocks. I break rocks and turn it into soil, which helps the trees to grow. I'm a caster of shade. I give shade to you. I'm eater of sun, so I eat sunlight and then I give you shade. I am timekeeper, breath giver, deep thinker, cutter. So again, in this paragraph, the tree tells the cutter that I am a timekeeper. You know, I keep time. But when you see a tree, you can make out, how old this tree would have been living here. Or I'm a breath giver. I give breath. I give oxygen, which helps you to breathe. I'm a deep thinker. So I just think like you people think. So in a way, the tree wants to convey to the cutter that just like you are a living being, I am also a living being. Like you people drink, eat, break, same way I also am very important because I give you breath. I am a source of life to you people. I think like you people. I feel like you people. So when you are cruel to me or when you come and cut me, I also get hurt. I am a city of butterflies, a country of creatures. So, to the butterflies and so many other creatures, I am just like a world to them. Like you people sit in cities and countries, same way the butterflies, I am like a city to them. I'm like a country to so many creatures who reside in me, who live in me, who for them I am a house, I am a habitat. So, the next paragraph, but my world takes years to grow. So, he says, but he tells the cutter, but my world, the world I am to those creatures, it takes so many years to grow. It takes me years to grow, cutter, and seconds to crash, and you are going to cut me down in seconds. It will take just a few seconds for you to crash me down and put me to death. So I've taken years to grow. I've given life to so many people, so many birds, so many creatures, but in a few seconds you are going to crash me down to death. Your saw can fell me. So your saw is a kind of a tool which the people, the carpenters, they use to cut the wood. So he says, your saw, it can fell me. It is going to cut me down. I'll fall down with your saw. Your axe can bring me low. So your axe which you have brought to cut me down, it will bring me low. It will bring me to the ground. Right now I'm standing straight. And my arms, they are stretching out in the air, in the atmosphere, and they are reaching out to the skies. But your saw and your axe, it is going to fell me and bring me down to the uh, earth. Do you hear these words I utter? So in the end, in the last, the poet through this tree asks all of us, that he actually asks the woodcutter, that do you hear what I'm saying? I ask this of you. So the tree tells the woodcutter, and that I ask this of you means I'm asking this from you. Do you hear what I am saying? Have you heart, woodcutter? So here in this line, the meaning of the word heartwood changes. Actually, here the heartwood refers not to the base of the tree, the trunk of the tree, but here it refers to the heart of the woodcutter. So he asks, do you have a heart, woodcutter? Or we can say, we can interpret in this manner, that the poet wants to say, or the tree wants to ask the woodcutter, that do you have a heart of wood, or do you have a heart which is so hard, like wood, or do you have a heart which is so cruel? Have those who sent you? So in this last line, from a woodcutter, the poet turns to the whole world. He turns universal, and he says, the tree asks the woodcutter, that do you have a heart, woodcutter? And those people, those who have sent you to cut this wood, have they got a heart? So through this poem, in the end, the poet wants to convey to the whole universe and asks this question, that those people who cut down the trees, cut down the woods endlessly without thinking, they don't have a heart. They've got a heart of wood. They've got a cruel heart, because they don't even think once or twice before cutting down the wood, before cutting down the trees, which are a world to so many creatures. And the poet asks us, how can we human beings be so cruel when we cut down a tree which is a life giver to us? Because the trees, they give us oxygen, which is the basis of our life. If we are going to cut down all the trees, if we are not going to plant the trees, if we are not going to be considerate to the trees, how can we think of living ourselves? One day we are going to put down an end to ourselves. If you're not going to stop cutting trees, we are going to end our life. So let us learn a lesson from this poem. So the poet wants to convey a big lesson to us through a very simple poem, through the questions which have been put up by a tree, that should we cut down trees ruthlessly, should we cut down, or should we think twice? The Of course we need wood, we should cut down when we need, but not only for our selfish motives. We should be considerate towards trees, and we should think of planting them, not cutting them. So I hope you have understood the base of the poem, the value which the poet wants to convey through this poem. And let us keep this poem in our heart, in our minds, whenever we go to cut down trees, or whenever we use wood or waste wood endlessly. So let us think of alternatives which can be used in place of wood, so that wood and trees, which are a world to so many creatures, they can also live and keep on giving life to us. So let us not put our life in trouble. At least be selfish for ourselves. So children, thank you and have a nice day.